Good morning, Illumineers. So we are here at the Charlie's Collectible Showcase 12K. So this is the important part where everybody in the chat, I go, can you hear me? Is this okay? That's the most important part. But in the meantime, I am your host, Katie, and Clara will be joining any minute now. And we are going live into round one, and we have an amazing game, just literally right off the bat. We have RMB versus TowelManPurple, which is very exciting and a little bit like, I mean, it's like a splash of water in the morning. I was asleep, now I wake. So we will go ahead and get started here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and alter their hands, and then we're right into the thick of it here. So bear with me while we make sure this is all ready. You can hear me! Yay! Thank you. That's always most exciting. Super Goof, you are a hero. And that's all I needed. So this is very exciting because we see that RMB is doing what RMB does, and he is back on the blue steel grind. And he does what you do with this deck and plays a Fortisphere, draws a card, plays an Ariel, or not Ariel, sorry, Belle, Princess Problems. And in response is Daisy Duck Time. So we do see that this is going to be a Sapphire Steel versus Amber Steel matchup because we're kind of in the steel meta right now. And he is going to go ahead and ramp, that is the next favorite thing of this kind of deck. Although not every blue steel deck has ramp, but if you do see items, you can start to think that that's something that might be on the menu.
Hello, hello.
Oh, hello, Clara. So are you able to see the heat that is on the screen? We're starting off with just an exciting match here of R&B versus,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I can see that.
I know. I feel the heat. I see the heat. So welcome, Clara. I introduced you softly, but you're here. So welcome to the party. I got Questingqueentcg Clara. We're back together. The band's back together.
That is amazing. I'm happy to be back with you to cover the CCS 12K. And what an exciting first match. RMB and TowelManPurple, two great players that we have there.
Yeah, it's a steel meta. I mean, we said this a few times. Yet last weekend we said it. I mean, last night with you were casting a match, and they said, "Wait a minute, is this literally all steel?" And the answer is yes. It is all steel. So in this case, it's going to be no different, but it is two different flavors of steel. So we have to see what kind of answers R&B is going to have. We know he has a few, but because he's playing this kind of deck, he is a little bit more reluctant to turn that Daisy sideways. When normally Daisy is just going over and over and over again.
Yeah, but also at the same time, Daisy can be really a strategic tool to activate other lines of play, notably with Rapunzel, challenging into a 3 strength character, healing back with Rapunzel, it nets you 3 cards.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the other thing, like you mentioned. It's you want to give it can be hard in low to the ground decks. I've been playing Emerald Amber, and that one is hard where Rapunzel has a hard time finding something to heal because they're little guys. So that's a good point that Daisy is an excellent candidate to stay on the board to get some value if that is what is in Towelman's hand.
Yeah, but rough start there. Strength of Raging Fire with 3 characters for RMB dealing with this me. Ouch.
Yeah, yeah. It's not R&B is putting all the pressure. The only thing that would make it even more pressure is a Calhoun, but doesn't even need it in this case because we see that. But right back at you, a bencher comes down and says, "Get that Fortisphere out of here." If you have a Hiram coming down, he needs to come with his own item, which we know is not a problem because there's a few
Yeah,
items in that deck, and he's gonna go get more.
well, oh, Lucky Dime. Lucky
Yeah.
Dime searched with the Scrooge McDuck in the first 4 cards in RMB's deck. So we have we are foreseeing the future.
We are, and we know that he is very, very desperate to get, not desperate, but certainly now on the hunt for everyone's favorite crab. So once you get that crab, then that dime suddenly costs nothing to play. And then it's really hard to stop that engine. As we saw, his first bench is already down and it got rid of a Fortisphere, which it feels a little bit better to get rid of a possibly a more powerful card in that case, but we shall see how it plays out. JDZ is in the chat. Who JDZ, by the way, is celebrating his 17th wedding anniversary this weekend. Amazing, incredible. So he might not be at the 12K, but he's got the 17 anniversary, which is almost as impressive, I think. More impressive.
That is definitely in my books.
Yes, so that is a whole lifetime of a child. That is your marriage can almost join the selective service. I mean, that's impressive right there. So we see the power problem with Scrooge McDuck here. Because Scrooge McDuck comes in and he gets value off the bat. And you're like, okay, all he does is get an item once. Not that big deal. But the real kind of stinker part of Scrooge McDuck is then he's kind of a big beater of a body that can really keep your board in check just by him being there, as seen by him just easily cleaning up Benja and only taking 2 damage, and he can challenge again if you give him a chance and take out that Daisy. So Scrooge McDuck is something where he's a problem in 2 ways, and the second way is just the fact that he's there.
That is true. And with 4 characters in play, RMB with Sapphire Steel is in the driver's seat. Normally, Amber Steel wants to have the most character into play, so we gotta deal with what is on board.
And he said, "Get out of here, Scrooge." So that's feels good to draw a card, but we have 3 more not so scary things on the board. But we know any moment there's a little 6-drop crab, Tamatoa Happy as a clam, that can come back and get some items back out. And then once that engine takes off, it's difficult. We would need to get some aerial. We need some singers out here. And I'm not sure if TowelMan is running a technical singer-based deck. We haven't seen any singers drop on the board yet.
No. So that begs the question, what is exactly the version TowelManPurple is bringing today? So is it the more aggressive version based on the Diggy Diggy Hole we've seen last set, or is it really a song version but with none of these cards?
Yeah, I mean, the lack of not seeing a Troubadour, not seeing a Vanessa, not seeing a Baritone, not seeing an Ariel makes me go, ooh. And so now it's not that terrible because, as we've seen, Pete and Lawrence are lovely singers. You don't think of them that way, but they love to sing. And then that is it a Neverland or a Pride Lands? It's Rapunzel's Tower. I was wrong. It's another Amberland.
Oh my, that is interesting with 2 characters in it, or all of them.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull
it's
let's see, Rapunzel's Tower. Yeah, and it's tough to say too, because I think he didn't have enough ink to do all of it. Okay, so Rapunzel's, it's one I haven't seen in a while. Do you know off the top of your head, do you have that one memorized?
Rapunzel's Tower is a 2-cost location with 8 willpower and 1 cost to move characters in there, providing them 3 willpower more than what they have.
A 1/7 Daisy. You love to see it.
That is powerful. Like, you have 7 willpower to go through to get rid of a 2 lore character. So that character can remain there over and over. Oh, on the other side, we have good stuff too. We have a Happy Tamatoa. I like that name. Like, Happy Tamatoa, it tells you what it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, Happy, he's happy, but I'm never happy to see him because the minute he comes in, problems only. He's getting things for free. He's gonna play that we know he's had a dime in his hand for several turns now, and that plane is about to take off. Towelman has done a very good job staying here. Even RMB saying, "Wait, what was I doing again?" Because yeah, that's a card you don't see all the time, and we do see two of his characters hiding in there. And there's a Calhoun, which kind of answers our question. He is running a more aggro-centered Amber Steel here.
So at the same time, I gotta say, TowelManPurple is doing his own thing. RMB is doing his own thing, and but they gotta interact with each other at a certain point if they want to avoid their having their opponent win the game. So let's see some interactions.
Exactly. At first it seemed stressful because I was watching. I was like, oh, he didn't get to quest with the daisy. He's got R&B had some pretty big bodies on the board, but now we're at the point where it's pretty good. I mean, we know that we've seen this matchup so many times over the past week that Steel has a big problem with wide boards. They have to do work. They either have to spend the whole turn questing or get everybody singing, but it's not something where you can have that access to the break in case of emergency, be prepared, or play that Sisu, which isn't always a problem, but it can be in something like this when you're looking down the board with, that's 6 lore with the characters. Rapunzel's Tower, I believe, has 1 lore on it, correct?
No.
No, okay, good.
The location does not provide any lore. Good luck. It is like that. Seriously, this location, as it is being a 2 cost with 8 willpower, imagine just adding a lore peep to it. That's bonkers. It would have been a legendary location at this point.
And I do want to say hello to the chat. We got all of it. We got Mandy. We got Caroline. We got JDZ. It's like we're all together. We're all eating breakfast. We're watching our Saturday morning cartoons. Only this time they're fighting each other. It's a very different Saturday morning cartoon situation where they are working on challenging and banishing each other.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, in Disney style, like,
yes.
Did you see? Like, let's reminisce like the old battles in old Disney movies. It's like, it's not really like big battle and stuff. It's just like maneuvering, distracting, make believe, stuff like that.
Oh, did you see what he just dropped on that board? He dropped a knives token of wait. So he played a Pete, and he has a special token he prepared just for this occasion. I have not seen this on stream before, where he put a penalty card on his player's side just in case.
I love it.
I love it too.
That makes a whole difference. Like, I'm all on board for like indications like this. Hey, you gotta remember, like, this is in place. Everybody knows it. Okay, even the chat knows it. What people looking at the game. So, I'm ready for this kind of stuff. We need to communicate things clearly, without having to remember everything. Seriously, how many things can you jam into one brain into a game? It's bonkers.
It is, and I think it was so funny. The first set that Pete came out, that was such a heartburn for people to try to do. Because you'd be like, no, I know. And then 2 seconds later you go, oh, man. So I think that any board state reminders, the other ones is having evasive, having those. I'm like, you know what? I like it. It's cute. And I love a little trinket. So in this case, we see marbles from Knives Nerd Corner, and I'm happy to see them, you know. I might reach out to Knives and say, can I have that, please? But TowelManPurple says, I don't really even know if I have any. I mean, we know he has a couple songs. I mean, most Amber song decks are going to take advantage of that. But now the pressure's really on. We have a pretty healthy board state here with 8 on board, which is, more than you need to get to 20 when he is at 18. But RMB is also sitting with lots of characters on board. So it is not over
Yeah.
yet, but it is a little stressful.
It is a lot because TowelManPurple is at 18 lore with two Daisies, a Lawrence, a Rapunzel, all in the Rapunzel's tower. Like, how can you deal with that? Seriously.
I don't know. I mean, that's really the biggest problem I think that we have seen. The biggest answer that Sapphire Steel doesn't have today is dealing with lots of guys, especially big guys. Because I mean, you can deal with a few, but not all of them. So we do have. Let me see. An ad's about to start. Should I do it now or wait for 5 minutes when the next round starts? I don't know. This round seems like it might be over. So, oh, how stressful.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what is RMB trying to dig for?
I
We can see the handshake, the hand movements telling us, I'm trying, I'm trying.
Exactly. And I mean, as Carolyn pointed out in the chat, Hades, because if you watch Maelstrom's video, I cannot get out of my head, have this problem, Hades them. But you can only Hades once, and we need to do 4 Hades. Do you think he has 4 that he could get in this exact moment? It could
No,
be hard.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think he has 480s in his hands. And also, like, even
Uh,
like a couple 80s, you still need to have like a lot of removal in steel to deal with the rest.
all
I
right.
gotta say,
Yeah.
there's there's like a total of 7, 7, 7, 8, 29 willpower on TowelManPurple sides at the end of this game.
Which is hard for anyone to deal with, except for one color, which is ruby, which is not here right now. Now keep that token. No, yep,
Yeah.
yep, okay, yep, okay. I thought I was gonna keep it. I'm like, wait, keep it. But no, he gave it back. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna push that ad. But we'll keep talking. Also, thank you, Mandy, for subscribing. You're the greatest, just the greatest human. But I'm gonna hit the ad button. Sorry if you're not subscribed, but we're just gonna be talking about the match. But now RMB is on the defense here. He's like, okay, I've seen what this deck does. It goes fast, and then it makes everybody beefy. So he just has to have answers to these problems early. Maybe ramping becomes a little less of a priority, and he wants to get some bodies out there to deal with the onslaught of unstoppable, just giant ducks, giant lady ducks. Do you think there's any cards? I mean, I'm imagining he's looking for strength. He's looking for Bell. Do you think he's prioritizing a Tipo, knowing that Tipo's pretty useless in this matchup other than ramping? Any other cards you think he
Well,
might be looking for?
well, ramping is still a good option because you want to get to those high hand characters. It could mean like having a Scrooge turn
That's true.
3, and already imposing like a menacing presence on board. So
Yeah,
that
that's a good point. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the big difference between RMB's deck and TowelManPurple is RMB has lots of late stage dazzling moves. The problem is he has to be able to survive long enough to do them, to get those Tamatoas, to get the giant lore bursts. So I will be able to kind of see here. Will he be able to get to that point where he's able to just keep his deck down, or will it be like last match where he's kind of trying to respond, and never gets to do the dazzling questing for 10 in one turn that we can see that crab and a dime do together? So we are doing the altars here and looking for all those good cards. I mean, I think TowelManPurple saying, I like what I had. I think that worked out real well. So I'm not sure he's going to necessarily change much here, but we'll see.
it probably means that he has like a suitable hand, at least to on curve having something to play. It's really hard to say. Like, if you have already some good cards, do you want to take the gamble to have like the optimal cards? Or do you just want to leave it as it is? It is one of the most crucial questions in altering cards at the beginning of the game. And for that question, I don't have like a definite answer for this. That's for sure.
No, and I mean, it's some of these can really be up to your card draws too, because I mean, gosh, once you have turn one daisy, turn two more daisies, it is not a fun thing to come back from. So, I don't know. We're gonna see how these first couple turns play out, and see if that momentum is really behind TowelManPurple like it was last game. But luckily, RMB gets to go first. Someone mentioned, when will you do a Poglet giveaway? So, well, I was almost down one Poglet. Poglet was almost felled by my dog yesterday. I need to make more, but it is scary to do that. I have to do it with needle felting, and sometimes I stab myself. Oh my goodness, he inks a $400 crab. That's how you got to do it. He picked, wow. That's, you know how you're playing a good match when someone you fist bump, and then when you play your most expensive card, your opponent takes a moment to praise it. But you got to, right? That's the most beautiful card.
Yeah. Like the beauty of it, of this card, I just love this card in enchanted form.
Yeah, I have a list of the enchantments I want from this set, and I put Tamatoa in the yeah right category. I said no, that's not happening. Not because I don't want it, but because I don't have the funds in my life. But that's okay. So good start on Tomlin's side. In this case, he is going to get the Cinderella out here, which can be a great way to get some card draw, do some removal. We don't see a turn one bell, so it might be good to get rid of a Tipo or something else later. But either way, it is always very nice to have a Cinderella out there for some options. Oh, no. Sorry.
Oh wow.
No, Cinderella. We didn't mean to. I didn't mean to say you were gonna be good. She got fired. The king. Okay, and he's just gonna give up on that plan and say, "I am gonna ink Cinderella." That was silly. We don't do Cinderella. I'll get a Smee out here. He's much more durable.
Well, it was bad. Like, we didn't see last week at Unterburton Memorial any Fire the Cannon in Sapphire Steel decks. It's probably the evolution of that deck bringing that card in to deal with potential Oswald.
That's such a good point. And I wondered how much would be evolved after last weekend because we saw a couple tournaments. We saw Inking Invitational, we saw Hunter Burton, and we saw this tournament in Germany that had 128 players. So this week, I know people are looking at things like Fire the Cannon. They're looking at how do I get around discard because we saw the rise of discard last weekend, which we're not seeing in this match, but I know we will see today. So that is going to be Penny. What are you doing here? We are working on getting the card switcher up. We can generally show you guys cards, but we can't right now. But there is it's not working quite yet.
Yeah, I would say Penny normally is a really good option on the turn after you play a Smee, but having a Scrooge deck on the other side makes you wonder, is that really the best I could do with my cards?
Sorry, I'm doing tech shooting, but you get to hear the gentle ASMR on my keyboard. So we did have to do like you said, pay out of pocket for the Scrooge McDuck. Does not feel so good, but
Still worth it, I would say. Like I said earlier, putting that card on turn 3 puts pressure on board. Like, you deny the free questing on from the other side.
And then, yeah, he gets that higher amount, which more card draw. So more answers are always feeling good in a Sapphire Steel deck. We know that we are building towards crabs. We know we are building towards dimes. So more cards, more ink, more answers. And meanwhile, we're looking at a very different game for TowelManPurple where he has not gotten any lore yet. And at this point, he had already put an extreme amount of pressure on Ryan RMB.
Yes, but also at the same time, Amber still wants to have a lot of characters on board. So having always more characters means that you're having more board presence. So it's a good thing. Instead, Sapphire still wants to have like more value engine going. So they both are into their game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, is it time? Is it time to get out a crab or, well, I guess he can't quite yet because he did pay one. So just draw more cards. Why not? Why not while you're here? Because we know that there's a crab who's of an environmentally conscious crab that will recycle any items you happen to banish. And we love to see it.
And we play Popsicle, then banish it to play a Bell, play a Benja. Um, so we already see some tech cards included in the Sapphire Steel to deal with the potential mirrors.
Yeah, and good move getting rid of the Lawrence. Lawrence hits for 4, so that is a great idea to try to protect the Hiram and the Scrooge because now we have the Smee, but Smee would rather quest than challenge if he can avoid it. But we also see in TowelManPurple's hand there is a fun little card here that is a tower, which might not be his favorable play right now because it's not going to get you lore. It truly is just a defensive maneuver, but could help his board survive some challenges that he knows he's going to have to do to deal with RMB's board.
Another Lawrence in play, and we have 3 ink on TowelManPurple side. So we know if the ink difference gets really big, sometimes the Amber Steel deck has a hard time to recover from that.
Oh, it hurts the most. It hurts the most when it's enchanted. So it's pretty, and we're getting 2 items back, and we know Hiram's just chomping at the bit to eat them. We're gonna ink a sail, and we're just gonna start the party here of drawing a card, questing, drawing 2 mark. It feels when you play it, it feels like, is this legal? Can I do this? And the answer is yes. You can draw 3 cards, get 2 back from your discard, play one of them, draw a card, have Hiram. In this case, he's gonna have Scrooge sing strength to get rid of Lawrence, and the engine just once it fires up, it's very very scary. He hasn't quested for a lot, but he's working at whittling away TowelManPurple's board, and it has to feel a little stressful to be on the other side of this engine firing up.
Yeah, that's for sure. We have 2 value engine in play. We have strong body cards like Bell, like Scrooge McDuck. Benja is a good quester, so we have a lot of stuff going on our bid side. Meanwhile, on TowelManPurple's side, well, a Smee and a Benja, those are good questers, but if they quest, they'll be dealt with.
And something that's kind of interesting that I saw last week, especially with Zan's deck, is you have so many problems. There's so many cards that are a problem to deal with that sometimes cards like Benja, the Queen, a Diviner, they get to quest and stay on board longer than you would imagine because just everything's a problem. Like you end up these little problems, these 2 quester problems, you're like, I don't have time to deal with that. So Benja ends up being possibly able to quest when maybe he wouldn't in a previous meta because they had, he was something you could easily deal with. But in this case, you can't get rid of everything with spot removal. So something like Benja is probably going to at least get to quest once or
Yeah.
challenge if he wants to.
really interesting play on TowelManPurple's side. We have a Rapunzel's Tower and a Dwarven, Seven Dwarfs mine.
Yeah, which answers a question. This is the like we thought, the more diggy hole, low to the ground. I mean, diggy hole, but also climby tower. Is that something? I don't know. Or we've got just the synergy off the locations. Now, diggy hole will gain lower, but it is a lot more helpful if we have a dwarf to go in it. But we have not seen one this game.
That is true. We're probably having a couple ducks in this deck, and they remain to be seen. I could probably give a boost of power for the Ember Steel deck. And RMB knows the menace of the dwarf mine and just deals with it right away. Good play right there.
Yeah, and it feels good to just be able to cleanly get rid of it. I think locations, they can be frustrating, but if you're able to just get rid of it in one clean go, then the investment is not so bad.
Wow. So we've used 2 fire the cannons.
Yeah, and that's something that we did not see last weekend. So that is very interesting and exciting to see in there. Maybe not exciting for TowelManPurple because he has had the cannons fired directly at his board twice now. And wow.
And enough is enough. Like at this point, like you see all the cards on the other side and all your cards being dealt with. It's so probably to being at his place, I would just keep composure and be like, yeah, this game is over. Like there's no recovery.
And there's
So
merit
let's
to
go.
that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know that the matches are 50 minutes, right? In a sanctioned game? 50 or 55 minutes.
Usually 3, best of 3 is 55. Well, what I'm used to. So it depends of the tournaments. And if we take into consideration 55 minutes, they've been really quick so far. So when you
Yeah.
know what your lines are and you know you can't recover, why lose time?
Especially, I think anybody that's played a low to the ground, diggy hole style deck, once it runs out of gas, it's not something that you can restart. Maybe you could draw, you could get, if he has a dock in there, you could get 2 more cards. But looking at RMBs, there's no cards to deal with that amount of pressure. So I think it's not a fun move to have to go in there and say okay, but I mean it's something you just have to do, and I think it feels good to just move on to the next game because now he gets to be on the play. He knows everything up RMB's sleeve. He's seen that very cute marbles token that goes with the Pete. He knows everything. So I think he's ready to just move into this and get the momentum back on his side like round 1 or match 1.
Yeah. It's like, do you want to let me win?
Yeah.
No. Okay, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. You just walk away and say, let's do it again because he's done it once. He could do it again.
Yeah.
And
So
sorry, I was just gonna say, I've just loved this matchup. But sorry, you can go ahead. I'm just all excited.
Same feeling here, that's for sure. And I was gonna say that both players did win on the play. So the real determining factor is how they will manage to get a win on third round, knowing what their opponent is playing and strategizing this into their plays.
Someone said R&B is getting animated over there. R&B is one of my favorite players in the world because he is top to bottom energy, commitment, and love for this game. Like watching him at nationals, I was like, this is somebody that loves to play Lorcana, and it was a very, very, very fun thing to see in real time because he loves playing this game and he's just completely engaged. So I'm glad this is his first match because sometimes your first match you'll be like, oh, I don't know this person, and it's a matchup, and you're like, oh, okay, and it doesn't really like wake you up. But I think this is a kind of match that's going to kind of keep both of these players really locked in for the rest of the day.
Yeah. For TowelManPurple, I gotta say, I met him at Las Vegas, like just playing a really spicy deck on Friday, and he he talked to me, being like, "Yeah, I really like your deck. Let's talk." And so we're really on the same mindset of deck creation, and he has the Ink Thieves Discord channel, which is really great. Doing really good content so far, so that is really amazing.
Yeah, they're both people who love this game. And so that's why I think we get to see some of these very, they're meta decks, but with their own little flavor on it in the sense that you can tell they both watched every game last weekend and adapted their decks accordingly. All right, so we got turn 1 here. So let's see where we go here. And I'm sure both of them want that ideal opening hand, which, as we know, you can't always get that. But now we hope. Cinderella, please, please don't. Oh, we got our card switcher. So there's the Rapunzel Tower that I mentioned a while ago. Still as relevant as ever because, as we saw in game 1, that tower, it's not something you want to necessarily play early. You want to get your board developed, but once your board's developed and you can run everybody into that tower, it is a problem. All right, it's a moment of truth. Oh my goodness! Did we just see 2 beautiful angels? We did. Everybody, wow. You don't think you get to see. Usually you just get to see hands, but in this case we got to see 2 beautiful angels. It was close up, but not close enough. We didn't even get to see the top of RMB's head, which is honestly what people come to see. We do see a tower inked and to play a tower. So I said you don't necessarily need to play or want to play that early, but he says, well, if I'm here.
That is a really interesting play there. Um, we didn't have a bell on RMB side. We have a Tipo ramping up, and on TowelManPurple side, we have the Rapunzel Tower, aiming probably to protect the Cinderella on this turn, or not.
Yeah, it's very interesting because he's still able to get a pretty wide board. I personally love just going aggressively wide because you know that RMB without a bell has a hard time dealing with a wide board early on. But in this case, they're both kind of playing a little bit different than your plan A. And if you're both on plan B, then that's just a different game and it's not necessarily a bad or a good thing. Oh, and a fishbone quill, which is something that you haven't seen in every deck. But
Been a long time, seriously. Like, there's been some return of the fishbone quill in previous sets, but not as strong as we've seen in Sapphire Steel this set.
yeah, and it's a card that, like you mentioned, it's not. People were able to ramp without it for a while. It's kind of expensive. It's kind of slow, but it is something that can be very nice, especially if you have a large hand size and you're just trying to get rid of some stuff you don't need anymore. It can be a great garbage garbage bin. That's not very nice. Great Stone Dragon is more of the garbage bin, but either way, it's a nice persistent ramp effect. But we do see something terrible happen. Strength of a Raging Fire on that Scrooge, leaving RMB with just 1 popsicle on board. Yeah, so it's not. It's tricky. It's a precarious. This turn is going to, I think, be very important to see what he's able to get out there. And is there any way to pump the brakes on his opponent's side? He might have a Zeus in there. I'm not sure. But we also know that there's a chance that TowelManPurple could be a mad lad running a Cinderella Stout-Hearted. I'm not sure. But he only has 2 ink, which is interesting. Has he always had only 2 ink? That seems scary. Or no, he doesn't. His ink's
No.
up front. Sorry. That's such a crazy move when people do that. I'm never mentally ready for it, but there it is. The ink's out front. And a cannon, right out, right out. That cannon's been doing a lot of work here.
Yeah, it's hard to go into the lines of, do I protect, do I ink more to have the necessary ink to protect my cards? And in that case, it was not the case. There's a lot of
Which,
cases.
oh my goodness. Okay, one daisy should be something where it says you can play one daisy per turn, because two daisy, I don't love it. No one loves it, especially RMB might not love it, because if that daisy starts questing, it can start burying some cards that he would very much like to not. But it could get him a crab for free, so it's not necessarily. Someone pointed out, inking out front is the mad lad thing to do, and it is. It caught me off guard. I was so disoriented, I forgot where I was. But we do see him get out another crab.
Yeah, well, right there, I wonder if it will be fast enough to deal with everything on the other side. Like, you have to deal with Rapunzel's tower. That's 8 willpower. On next turn, we have potentially a total of 28 characters' willpower. If TowelManPurple puts everything into Rapunzel's tower.
Yeah, that tower is just really an interesting play here. I haven't seen it used in a ton of decks. We even saw RMB grab it and say, "What's that say here?" But yeah, I mean, having two 1/8 daisies and then two 4/8 Lawrences is a little different than having a 0/4 Lawrence and 1/4 daisy. But both those Lawrences are nice and healthy, questing for two and being a big problem.
So yeah, we are at the turning point right now. We are menacing Lortle next turn on the Amber Steel side.
Yeah, and I
What a
mean,
side!
yeah, and I don't even know how. It's wait, we saw this in the first. Once they're all in the tower, the
Mhm.
math starts going off in my brain. We don't have double singers. We don't have a lot of things here that would be really great. Even if all of his characters, when charging in, he has to get rid of, uh, you know, ugh. He could deal some damage to those Lawrences, but then there's still 0/8s, and that feels very bad.
Oh my. Okay, so we have a total of 7 ink on RMB's side. Um, Only if there would have been a card to deal directly with locations. I don't know. Avalanche.
Yeah,
I would.
we have seen a hideaway. Hideaway might be an option, right? Hideaway is
Oh,
location or I believe, but now I don't know. Now that I said it out loud, I'm like,
yeah.
oop. Um, but
Hideaway could be a really great option. That's true.
but I know a lot of people cut that from their list because they're like, well, what are we gonna do here? Um, but yeah, he'd almost have to go for that location first, knowing that it's almost futile to try to get these characters while they're in the tower. I imagine they're all sitting in the tower going like neener neener neener, making weird faces, because that's what I would be doing at this point if I was in that tower with my 4 extra willpower.
Yeah, well, for sure, either way is equal to dealing 12 damage in terms of willpower because you're removing that location who is giving that 3 willpower per character.
All right, so he's gonna start doing some work. He says, while I'm here, I'm not afraid. I've been in stickier situations before, so he does what he can and gets rid of those Lawrences, which is good because those Lawrences are, hit more than the Daisy, but we still have 2 Oh, so that
Oh, the dock.
yeah, Doc is gonna let him refill his hand. And oh, and he gets the mine. And is he gonna send somebody to the mine? I don't think he has enough ink for that because he does only have 4 ink. But he does hit a Pete, which isn't the worst thing. I wouldn't say it's the best thing because I mean it could be ink. It could. We don't know what actions possibly TowelMan has, but at this point, it's not really about what TowelMan is going to do this turn. It's if RMB can stop him from getting to this next turn.
Usually, the Diggy Hole type of decks, they have 4 Let the Storm Rage on, 4 Strength of Raging Fire, and that's it. Yeah.
I just saw in the chat someone says this is when we need Questing Queen because we missed 20-second games. We need it. So people are like, remember we on Questing Queen just absolutely blazing through this match. So it's good to know that people they miss you when you're not playing.
Yeah, I know. I missed that too. Seriously.
You're like, I want to go fast.
Ah.
Put me in, coach. All right. So he deploys that beat. Oh, probably just to get out that beautiful token. Apparently, someone in the chat said that Knives does not have them. I will be speaking with him and saying, what do I need to do? Oh, and that's how it goes. I mean, man, we saw the power of the tower here, where if you just put all your characters in tower, they are a problem. And that was round one. What a round one that was, getting to see two of community favorite players of RMB and TowelManPurple.